On day 2 of the challenge, it didn't take us very long to encounter adversity. We were barely 150 kilometers east of Quebec City when Gary radioed us to exit onto a secondary road so Peter could get some beauty shots of a small village. As Peter was filming, I opted to drive ahead a few kilometers, pull over and wait by the side of the road. When I pulled off my front right tire on the main road, there was no shoulder, and before I knew it, the entire passenger side of the truck had slid into the ditch with the soft, deep snow jammed halfway up the door.
It's flat. Everybody thought it was flat. One wheel went off. We'll get out of this.
I found myself pondering how we were ever going to make it around the world if we needed a tow after only 1.5 short days on the road.
If there's a problem in the middle of the desert of Iran, a problem with some of the lift devices on the truck, or if the truck breaks down, or if there's a minor accident, and I'm sure Mike knows this chance that he's taking better than anybody because he's in the situation.
Once in Nova Scotia, we pulled into the Halifax Rehabilitation Centre. We met up with our host, Christine Short, chief physiatrist, and proceeded to tour the institution with an entourage of doctors, clinicians, and media.
You know, although we're all met by the stresses of cutbacks in the medical system in Canada, he's going to be traveling to places like India and Istanbul and Turkey and places that don't even have rehab centers, and you might not even be guaranteed a wheelchair.
Saturday, March 24th, day 5 of our odyssey was hectic and significant as it was the final day of leg 1, which included scheduled containerizing of the truck and evening flights to London, England for the start of leg 2. I've known Eric for the better part of, let's say, a quarter of a century. We decided we were going to do something bold, like the Round the World Challenge. Eric was unconditionally such a great supporter. And then when we brought Christopher Reeve to town, you agreed to join us on stage for that great event.
I think what Christopher was saying this afternoon about a meeting in the center was about saying that we don't need to compete anymore, because there really is a meeting of the center. There is room for us to push for a cure for spinal cord injury at the same time as we make sure that those of us who live with a spinal cord injury have the kind of support that we need.
I'm going to jump right into it. What were your earliest recollections when you were told that you had contracted polio?
I remember back, I was 7 years old at the time, and this would be back in 1953, playing outside, got very, very sick, got nauseous with a headache and tummy ache. I was in the local hospital and being flown from there to St. John's, where I was obviously frightened and scared, had never been away from home, and spent the next 19 months in an acute care hospital in St. John's, Newfoundland, and 19 months before I actually got to see my family again.
What are the stereotypes portraying people with disabilities that are still pervasive in society now?
What I remember in the beginning, very much there was a focus on the disability, little focus on the ability. It was all about what was wrong. And there very much was an attitude of charity. And I think still today, people with disabilities are viewed as being different. In the world that I live in today, I see a world that's incredibly accepting of people with disability.
Why do you think an active lifestyle is important for all people with disabilities?
Nothing builds one's self-confidence more than an active lifestyle. I remember how I lacked self-confidence, and my friend Don Curran, who was running the Canadian Paraplegic Association in Nova Scotia at the time, convinced me to come out to a basketball game, and I did, and it was the beginning of a whole new world for me. And I think people with disability can participate and experience the sense of self-worth and confidence that comes with being active.
Eric, what are some of the most significant changes for people with disabilities in Canadian society from 20 years ago until now?
We introduced the first accessible construction legislation in the country back in 1976, 1977. The building code for the first time in Newfoundland became an accessible building code. And from then through the next 20 years, we saw that happen right across the country. So certainly the community has become so much more accessible. We take it for granted now. I jump on my bike and go out my front door, and I feel free that I feel confident that I can go pretty much anywhere in my town and go in with my bike. And I couldn't do that when I started this journey 50 years ago. So accessibility has played an incredible part in opening up the universe for people with disability.
Thanks, Eric. We'll see you moving around the world, but in virtuality. Take care. See you soon.